So, I guess 12:03.
Yep.
People in, present is, Costas here, Jillian,
Present.
Alex,
Present.
Jay, here, and Ryan.
Present.
Everybody else absent. Hopefully we get this done real quick. Jillian had to go in an hour, so do I. The reason of this meeting is, I don't know if, sound like you were confused, for us to submit a budget. We don't have a budget. The budget that we submitted, it was changed by the BOT, so right now we're here to submit a budget.
Okay.
So we need to make a budget proposal, and we need to submit it, and we call it a day. We're done. We're out of here.
And what is the budget? What do you have for the budget?
Well, that's what we're here to talk about. Well, I can make a proposal myself. The budget that was submitted before, okay? I would like to, you have the budget that was before, that was submitted before, and, $6,000 budget for insurance, 300,000 consultant fees, 150 budget landscape maintenance. You have that, right?
Mm-hmm, I did.
Well, I like to myself to talk about the $6,000 for insurance. We need that. We all agree on 350 budget for consultant fees and attorneys. I like to send that to 350,000 to cover also the Citizens Council. 150,000 for budget for landscape and maintenance. The 120,000 budget for construction, roads and sidewalks, etc., should be to 150. We strike the 250 budget for the fire truck because you're gonna recoup 395, right? From
That's been proposed, but it has not been formally proposed at the Board of Trustees at this point.
then we'll go back to 250. Go back. We'd like to support the definitely the that. And also we need to we have $100,000 for fire inspections. Is that a 3-year contract or 1-year contract?
What did we,
3-year project or 1-year project? I like it to be a 3-year project.
I thought it was that
I think
once
it's
it ran out.
Well, and then this is, we only adopt a budget 1 year at a time. So what we could do is we could leave it in there as $100,000. It would, if we continue to approve, I could give an update at the next meeting, what we've had billed against it to date.
Okay.
I don't have that number in front of me today here, but I don't believe it's been, probably even more than 10% of that amount. I would be surprised.
Okay. Because what we could do is put that in the capital improvement plan. That's a
Whichever way.
6-year plan or a 5-year plan or
Again,
whatever.
that's the reason we're here.
Yep.
Okay, so
For inspections in the DDA district, correct?
Correct.
yes. Yes, so and then we have also the township requires the business on Jack's Road do all the backflow preventions.
Mm-hmm.
Make a check. I would like to see if we can pick up 100,000 for that, which I don't think is that much, but we can talk to the utilities and find out how many of those they check a year. Okay, I think they're like $100 or $125 each. I don't think they do 1,000. There's no 1,000 up and down over here, so give her a lift to the business. That's what I, and 40,000 for the bus route.
So a contribution of $40,000 towards the bus service along Jackson
Correct.
Road. Okay.
And anything else up to you guys? That's my proposal. So let's go over it.
So you had a little rapid fire there, so I just want to make sure I have everything correctly. So $150,000 budget for landscape and maintenance for Jackson Road.
Mhm.
What was the next item?
150 for roads and sidewalks,
Yes,
For roads and sidewalk
100
improvements?
for fire inspections,
Okay,
100 for backflows,
okay,
40 for the buses,
yep,
6 for insurance, and 350 for consultant attorneys.
and 250 for fire truck.
Okay,
250,000 for fire truck.
Um,
Alright,
Go back one, Jay, you said, okay, 350 for consultants and attorneys,
mhm,
250 for fire truck.
mhm.
And what was the other? There's a middle,
100,000 backflow.
no,
40 for bus route,
no,
For the-
after that.
roads and sidewalks,
I've got that one. There was one more,
landscape and maintenance,
I got that.
consultants, and I get,
That's all,
that's it.
that's it.
350, okay, and then 250 for fire,
Mhm.
fire truck. Okay. Thought there was something else in there, but. And then Gus, this is what you're proposing.
Can I?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's this concept that the trustees might be requesting this 390 or 395. Are we sticking with that 250, or is the DDA gonna stick to that 250? Even if we end up, the DDA ends up conceding on the 390, or is it gonna be like a
Negative.
level set? Yeah,
Negative. They get the 395, we back off to 250.
that's all I wanted.
That'd be my suggestion. I don't know how the rest of them feel.
I think you could look at it a couple ways. I think it's still. We captured from the 1.35 for a number of years, so the money is there financially if you were to look at it as a dollar and cents issue. I certainly see the other side of the argument where you're saying since we're not going to capture it going forward, you know, you don't wanna contribute going forward. But I think it does benefit the DDA district, cause most of the taller structures that the ladder truck would be relevant for are in the DDA district, you know, they're not generally not in the more rural areas. I still would be supportive of the fire truck. I do think that the number of years that we had captured off of the previous millage would support the cost of that.
Wait, previous millage for,
The previous is special assessment.
I don't-
we didn't capture anything. Oh, is that what you're saying? Okay.
I didn't-
The 195,
We had the 1.3, you know.
135.
I don't disagree with, none of us disagree about the supporting the fire truck.
Yep.
None of us says that. But, you know, the question is, you're gonna get 400, you wanna put another 250, 650,000 a year? That's a question. So you know,
That's a-
my answer was 400,000. It's a good one. If we have more budget, we can always go back and look at it next year. You know,
That's true.
but to go to 650 right off the bat, you know, it's you know,
Could I do a couple of just procedural things real quick and then we can go back to our discussion? We never formally adopted the agenda or went through public comment.
Oh, yeah.
And the fire chief is here and he could maybe share a little bit of information too about
fire
how the finance and the logic went through on purchasing the fire truck with the
Right.
understanding of the contribution at the time.
Mhm.
I would move the adoption of the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
And then now we would go to public comment, so. Chief, if you wanted to come up during this time, you're more than welcome to, or if you want to wait till the end of public comment, whatever.
If the DDA has any specific questions, happy to answer them throughout the meeting.
And I know that one of your bases for ordering the truck was relying on the $250,000 understood contribution, correct?
Yeah, that was one of the bases we used for that, and
I got that.
Yeah.
Got a problem with that. We're all in favor. Just, we're saying that, you're gonna get a minimum 400,000 or, 250 or 400,000 and a possible 650 if we can spend that. Yeah, we're all definitely all in your support, your corner. As far as that goes, the question is, what's the total? In my end of it, you know, these folks here, they can vote for whatever, you know, whatever they feels appropriate.
Sure.
Okay.
Great, thank you very much, much
Yeah.
appreciated.
Yeah.
Anyone else present wish to make public comment?
Okay.
Anyone online, and then we can move back to discussion. Hopefully raise your hand if you want to make public comment, I can let you guys on up. And. Oh, there is somebody.
And our roads, the roads and maintenance that we got 150,000.
Gus,
That-
we have to do the public
Oh, we do?
first,
I
yes.
thought it was nobody.
Yep, sorry.
Oh, you said-
Sorry, Pam, I think you should be able to unmute now. ahead.
I am indeed unmuted. Thank you so much. I have two comments. One's really short. At the top of your agenda, it says regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. So yeah, not sure how that happens, but just pointing that out. The second one is, Alex, I think you were on the Jackson Road meeting, if I'm correct. Did you attend that meeting? Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, you were in the breakout session that Rob and I were also in. And for those of you who didn't attend, Rob posted the video of our breakout session on Scio Community News YouTube channel. It was a really good meeting. A lot of good questions were asked. Thank you, Alex, for yours. One of my comments to OHM had to do with the way the Washtenaw County Sheriff Department will rarely, but it does happen, use Jackson Road as to deviate traffic because of an accident on I-94. And so we end up with semi trucks going down Jackson Road. And I don't recall much in the way of any DDA discussion on that particular happening. And so I suggested that if the OHM Jackson Road Corridor Initiative DDA considers having a bike path, that based on the diagram that this person brought before us in that meeting, that they should consider a combined bike path that is up off the road. That's my public comment. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no other hands, we can go back to discussion. Thank you.
So what?
Do we want to have a budget, the roads? I believe that we have enough money to do the crosswalks. Believe that will be enough money. I'm getting the price right now to, maintain those with salt and, free of snow.
Some plowing,
Right,
snow removal, and you're looking
right. I
at-
think there's like four of them, five.
Are we looking at the ramps too? Any reconstruction of ramps or no?
I have a guy looking at them right now. That's gonna be more money, and also to raise the sidewalks and grind the sidewalks. It's gonna be an X amount of dollars. They're looking at it right now. And hopefully,
Do you want to budget that up then, or is 150 where?
no, that's gonna be more than that. So we need to, if we're gonna budget that up, we should budget another 100,000, just.
I'd be in favor of that. If everything.
I mean, it's gonna come back to
If
these,
we don't use it, we don't.
yeah,
use
that's what I
it.
say, it's gonna come back to this
I
budget.
think that's a project, I think that's time to be undertaken as far as the trip hazards on the side, that may or may not.
Some people have complained, I found out that I was on the DDA that have complained, they said they should be. Like, I said, okay, we'll do the best way, it's not that many, so we're gonna save a lot of money, but you know.
I think Jillian brought up the crosswalks, no, Linda brought up the crosswalks, I think, didn't she?
Jan did. I think
Yeah.
everybody did.
Yeah.
After seeing the.
And we agreed to do those.
Okay, good. When you say you have a guy looking at them, what do you mean by that?
Concrete guys looking to raise those or grind those, the companies.
Okay,
The
so,
sidewalks are all uneven.
yeah, I understand.
I don't want to.
There's a bidding process that we have to go through.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Right,
Just
we're
be
gonna get
clear.
2, 3 prices, you know.
Basically, you bring one guy through and he helps write the specification, more or less.
Yeah.
To
Kind of
the,
like an engineer.
well, an engineer really can't do it, the contractor's pretty much.
The contractor is gonna do it,
You know,
engineers.
Yeah,
Okay,
Like he's gonna say this is what it needs to be done, so we'll take that, we'll copy that, we'll take the person's name and number out. The total out, and we give it to you, you're the contractor, you take a look at that, then we give it to the next guy, and they're all beating on the same item. Except you're not gonna have a name, you're not gonna have a total.
well, where are we putting this out for people to bid?
we'll do an RFP.
Okay,
I just call a couple, 3 people for.
Either
I
specify,
don't have interest on any one of the companies as far as that goes, so. If you guys gonna put it out on the internet somewhere, you let me know where, we'll post it. I have no problem with that.
okay, Brian, I think.
Yeah, we can work on that.
Yeah,
Okay, I do have a budget request and, the sheriff contract that, we have, as you know, we're a general law township. And our sheriff contract is covered, well, we're paying for it out of the general, fund. And most of our calls are within the DDA. I would like to request that the DDA appropriate money towards the sheriff contract. That's I mean, of course, we have to all vote on this, but
And based on
the amount of calls,
the amount of calls.
yep.
The fire calls, where are most of the fire calls from?
Chief, that's a chief question.
So you're chief, we'll let you
A
answer.
fair amount in the DDA district, but
A lot on 994 too, right?
quite a few in 94, quite a few in, if you look at our more populated areas, we generally respond to those areas more.
Scio Farms has a decent amount of calls, I know.
It's in the DDA district, the one that I see where we have a lot of calls, outside of the DDA district is the Uplands area. That's south of Liberty, north of South Church, that area there, a lot of homes and.
Uplands, you have a lot of calls there?
What we could do is request from the sheriff department, I'm assuming they would have some type of map. And see, you know, whatever the portion of calls within the DDA, we could figure that out versus the rest of the township and do a percentage.
Let's do the trust.
Do I have a-
What's general fund put towards buses?
It's a
General,
millage.
general fund itself, but currently does not contribute any money towards the bus. It's a millage based activity.
So that do we capture?
50% within the
I'll give
DDA,
you the number in a minute.
whatever.
And then I'll-
It doesn't just run the DDA district, it runs.
Do we have a cost of the runs? The total cost of the runs?
For the sheriff or for the bus, we're talking.
It's crazy.
56,000 roughly last month. And the contract does have escalators over time.
It's a month, 56,000
56,000 roughly was the AAA.
plus whatever.
I
they
go into
take
accounts
in
payable,
fares.
to tell you that too. Yeah, whatever fare, they don't have,
So it's 700,000 a year is what you're saying? 700 or 800,000 a year?
give me a moment, I'll tell you what AATH was. Oh, it's a PO. Julian, just while I'm looking this up for them. Do you have, just because we're trying to set the budget today, do you have a number in mind? I know we can go back,
What?
maybe for the sheriff's item on.
That's what I asked the question as well for the sheriff, what is it, what is the cost of what's the cost of the sheriff total, and how much of that goes, for example, roughly, on the DDA district?
Well, it's 1.6, it's a 1.5 or 1.6 million per year.
Per year, all comes out of the general fund of Scio Township currently.
Right.
How much is the new fire truck?
1.8
1.9.
something, 1.9?
It's all right, right?
Yeah,
It's not that, it's not that.
I'll find it
Just-
eventually.
It's more of a curiosity thing, because I did sit on a bus committee back when it was a huge losing proposition running a bus.
I can call Lieutenant Hunt and see if he has a,
No, you're
Idea?
fine, you're fine, Sam.
okay.
In my behalf, you're fine.
Well, I just know that it's been reported that throughout the DDA, that's where most of the vehicle, especially Jackson and Z, we have Scio Farms, we have Meyer, you know, there's a lot of calls at Meyer. I've been there when things have happened.
What percentage of this calls you think is of DDA, chief? Just an idea.
60.
Okay.
That's just a ballpark, don't hold me to it.
No,
Well, that's for accidents and emergency, just everything.
Yeah, medical calls, car wrecks, anything else.
And the sheriff doesn't always show up, or is it vice versa?
No, we generally don't have a sheriff response unless we request for them.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That I can.
Was that percentage you asked for? 60 what?
60%.
Okay.
6%, $1.5 million. They're also the DDA district.
That's fire calls, so police calls, yeah. So historically, the calls in the DDA district have been in most of the calls in the DDA district have been in the residential portions of the DDA district, which are Parkland Plaza, Eagle Point, and Scio Farms.
Hmm.
And How many full-time police officers do we have in Scio now?
We're contracted for 8, but I believe we have 7.
7.
And they are, there's,
So that's one per shift, pretty much, one and an eighth per shift.
and then they
If you do
will,
the math,
Yeah.
so it's not like,
then they'll bring in somebody or other community, deputies that are stationed other places if we have a really
Serious
bad
incident.
incident.
Right, let's move on.
okay,
Share some, let's hear proposals and,
Answer the question on bus, DDA captured $48,114 last year.
say that again, Ryan.
$48,114 was captured by the DDA from the bus millage. To give you an idea, on the township parks millage, we captured 88,772. On land preservation, we captured 69,373.
and which one?
Land preservation, open space.
Okay,
Don't have the fire number, but I had it before, it was 195. 195, yeah,
There's bus, parks,
operating. Which is
well, just the villages that we have out there in the
bus,
parks.
parks, open space, fire.
Oh, well, yeah, fire now, right? Okay. So I think we had another one.
So.
Okay, so we're gonna put a budget together, propose it. I'm gonna sit here all day talking about the same stuff. Either we've got a proposal or let's move on.
You got anything? Go around the table? No?
Nope.
So township supervisor's recommendation is. I just have to have a number to insert for calls for service of the sheriff contract. We can always, if we I wanna say over author, if we authorize more than we need, we don't have an obligation to expend. We just have to have the authorization to expend in order to actually expend. So if you have a ballpark number, we can put it in.
Well, let's try a percentage.
Okay, use chief's percentage of fire calls, which are somewhere to start. 60% of 1.6 million would be $960,000 a year. That's hefty.
Well, what if we did like 50%? I can get the data from the sheriff, possibly, hopefully. I'm sure they have that. Yeah.
because just remember that all these businesses also pay taxes that go into the general fund.
Correct.
I mean, that you're just, this assumption that we take all the tax money and we get to keep it, then we get to redistribute, it's not fact, so.
Mhm.
Would,
Give
is
me
it okay if we ask,
You can ask whatever you.
Okay,
I don't know,
so-
I'll tell you.
regarding this topic of sheriff, what is your, I guess, suggestion, invite,
Well, I mean,
insight?
It's. I think you would have to take that part of it into consideration, right? If the businesses and the residences and all of this are paying towards the general fund, how much is the DDA capturing? 50%, is that?
50% of the increase from the base value. We captured $126,319 from the general fund.
Related to sheriff?
Related to the general fund operating village. So sheriff, township hall, existing as a building. General operating expenses.
What, the entire
So
DDA district,
that's the part of the budget that
all the taxes.
would normally go to those functions. I suppose maybe that should be the part that's contributed.
Okay, how much was that again?
$126,319.
So much you capture from where?
The township operating millage.
So rather,
For what reason?
so.
Oh, sorry, we, the DDA capture $126,000.
We capture $126,000.
Is that millage the only funding source that the general fund uses to pay for the sheriff?
Correct. Well, I would say generally, the general fund gets funding from the operating millage, which is the majority of it. The state revenue sharing, which is determined by a formula from land.
How much does the township pull in for these operating expenses?
On the operating millage, we pull in $1,520,000.
Okay.
Then we receive probably another, you can go in and look, but several $1,000,000 from township, from the revenue sharing that the state has.
Okay. I mean, if you were to think about how much of the DDA contribution, Gus, do we have anything that those specific $126,000 would be applied to for services provided out of the DDA? Operating expenses of that nature, or is it?
So we do have cost allocation that applies for things like our financial services, so running accounts payable, checks, running our
So,
financial
Is
statements.
that the 27,000?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, sounds like 100,000 then, this would be.
That's what I said, that
This would be solely, this would take care of the percentages we're talking about for the fire and
Just
the sheriff.
is there.
Yeah.
That's
So
sure.
the 100,000 is a lot more palatable than just 900,000.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad
Yeah.
that you clarified that for us.
we can put 100,000 down for that.
Okay.
Okay,
It's something.
I move that we accept the, this budget as amended.
I would support. I just want to read it into the record. I have it written down, but just,
Yes.
so we have it there.
Appreciate that.
150, the chair's recommendations for the budget, $150,000 budget for landscape and maintenance for Jackson Road. $150,000 for road and sidewalk improvements,
Hold it to 170.
170, thank you.
Oh,
Backflow prevention program, $100,000. $40,000 for the bus route contribution, $6,000 for insurance, $350,000 for consultants and attorneys, $250,000 for fire truck, $100,000 for road sidewalk improvements, additionally specifically for the sidewalk / ADA ramp improvements. And under the township supervisor's recommendation, $100,000 contribution to the Scio Township General Fund for calls for service related to the sheriff contract in the DDA district. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes,
We had that, so we have the 150 for roads and sidewalks plus another 100.
170.
So it's 270, we've got roads and sidewalks.
and just to be clear, the roads, the money for the roads is just for within the DDA.
Yes,
Yeah.
has to be, yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure that the township board understands.
Are we, from a revenue standpoint, are we covered for these expenses?
Let me do the math.
Are
I'll
we
give you that answer.
backing into those numbers or?
I can give you the answer.
Should be.
I just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
That totals to $1,266,000. Last year TIR was approximately $2.2 million. So we would be covered sufficiently.
So assuming that we collect the same amount in the upcoming year, we are budgeting $1 million less than we are.
Yes, and we maintain fund balance of approximately $5.4 million.
So that additional million would just go into our reserve.
Correct.
Guys, you're saying 1.2 is what?
1.2 is what was proposed, but you have the other.
I mean, there are multiple other items here.
That are not included. That was gonna be my question next.
So like, the initial budget was 1.8, and it got knocked down to 1.1. There's no way that what we've got here is 1.2 if we take into consideration all these things. There's the
Right.
600K for the brownfield.
That's an in and out expense.
In and out.
That's
Oh,
under
yeah.
control
And then there's
financially.
whatever these other things.
There's
are.
shared services
They
and
should be
stuff,
taken
right?
into consideration.
The shared services
That's
of
one of the
approximately
others.
27,000.
Thank you.
Well, you got 50,000 on parks. We don't have anything for parks. So therefore,
I would still, I'm gonna add up those other amounts. Give me a moment.
120,000 over there, 420,000 footnote total for fire truck. That should be changed, right?
Unless you do that other 400. 395 or whatever.
Okay, you're right. Great.
So
So the roads would increase by 50,000. Or, yeah, because we had 120
Yeah.
before, where,
right. Start with the, so this one here has, FYI, has got, the, consultant fees is, what is it, 300, got $5,700 in audit fees, don't have anything for that. Got $205 in office supplies, there's nothing that we account for that. It's got, full-time employee salaries, 0.
Mm-hmm.
Fine with that. Then we got, 100,000, I can't line.
Sorry.
What's,
where is it? 100,000. Oh, there it is.
footnote amount, what is that, 100,000 for?
Those are.
Is that for the plan for the pedestrian bridge?
You look underneath it, it says there's 2 line items for each dollar amount, there's footnote, and then it says something else.
Right,
Yeah, so there's
there's a 300,
the pedestrian and sewer study. That was for 200,000, but then there's something, yeah, because the footnote goes under.
yeah. Okay, we don't have enough for that. Sure, there should,
I would ask the DDA board here if we could give a little bit more information as well to the $350,000 for. Of course, we know what the attorney is, but he's not gonna be hopefully the majority of that. But specifically, we could have even a couple of sentences to describe what we want to do with that line item.
which line item?
$350,000 for consultants and attorneys.
Consultants and attorneys for extending the life of the boulevard, and also citizens council, if we go farther, that we talked about, right? Okay, and
Extending the DDA.
right, extend the DDA, so if that doesn't happen, then the money goes right back.
Yeah, it's just being authorized, isn't necessarily.
Right.
Yeah, just
You know, we have to keep bringing.
I know that was the item that got, one of the items that got pulled,
Right.
so having
Okay.
the information would be helpful, you know.
And if you look to the last extension,
And yeah.
yeah, they have like the Carlisle Workman and.
Yep.
I place a call to them,
Yes,
and Doug's supposed to get back with me and tell me, give me a budget.
What?
Place a call to him last time that I was here with you,
Yeah.
and he hasn't answered me since. And he says, I'm gonna
Laura's
talk,
here today.
I'm gonna give you an idea, says, what's the cost of all this, says, in case you guys extend the life of the DDA.
Oh,
It
okay.
was like to get an idea.
Right,
Like,
he says,
Okay.
I will get back with you, and he never did.
So just to be clear, that the consultant, let's see, the consultant and attorney, that's what you're talking about right now.
Right.
And that, what did we say? That would be
350,000,
350,000. Okay,
right,
so that's eliminating the pedestrian sewer study.
correct.
That's okay. And then, so, and even the extension of the DDA, at this point, because it's the consultants, whatever, okay.
Mhm.
The 63,000 in maintenance, that's gonna be strike out also, because that's part of the landscape,
Right here.
Okay.
fourth line, yes. Right, Ryan?
Yep, that's.
Membership dues for 51, what is that?
Spark, right?
Ann Arbor
Spark.
Spark, that'll be coming to our July meeting. I received that from Ann Arbor Spark the other day.
I think I received a bill, did I?
You probably also received a copy of it.
Yes. I didn't give it to you because I want you to pay it.
Right, I think that's everything.
Yeah. I'll grab it off the printer.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Everything on this first page is.
Right.
Okay.
Could they make it more official, don't you think, Brian?
Yeah, since we're going through all the line items.
What is the miscellaneous? What's $205 for miscellaneous? Are we?
Breakfast at the Coney Island.
Oh, no, don't say that. Gus?
More legal fees, yeah.
Okay,
I understand, but
well, maybe it should
don't you
be
guys eat?
400,000 for legal fees.
Yeah, Gus is tired of buying
Right.
Okay.
So they eat.
All right, I'm just gonna. So we're on the next page, guys.
They spend millions and they what about $216, right?
You know, back in the old days, you came to DDA and they had lunch for you and everything. We met during lunch and we got a lot, like, you know, an hour and we're done.
We're gonna work into that.
Uh,
Plan to spend the day, Jay? All right,
So then here, this is what we were missing
right,
earlier. So the Parks project,
we don't have nothing for parks.
50. Oh yeah, so that would be 50,000.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
then the roads, we have 120,000, that's changed to 170.
We're scratching that. Right,
Yep, so I just print off a copy of this, that way I can update it.
scratch that. Then the fire trucks, 250, we're keeping this, so that's changing, so everything else seems to be okay. We have debt interest payment of 92,500,
Mhm.
and we have paying agent fees 513. Who are the agents?
Pay agents are the company, the banker that helps us pay the bond for,
Okay,
Hmm.
so we need to put the 92.5 back in there, so you need to total all those, Ryan.
that, yeah, and so just to clarify. Park fund, various projects needs to go to 50,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay, 1,000.
We don't have any parks fund. You have parks fund then?
This is page 2.
I know, but we didn't have any. We didn't propose
You
anything.
don't have anything proposed for that?
No.
Okay, I'll mark that out.
Well, we agreed to that before.
Okay, that's fine. We agree. I'm just saying, there's nothing proposed today.
Okay, we're just, so what we're talking about today will be in
Yeah.
addition to these things we've already agreed.
No, yeah, we sent a budget once and it wasn't agreed to, so we're starting over.
Start over.
Okay, then
So
we
we're
need to
done.
put the 50,000 in for
Okay.
parks.
Okay,
$50,000 in for parks. The next item down on that page is roads miscellaneous road projects. The amount that I have written down on my notes is 170,000, well, it'd
Right.
actually be 270,000 because there's the road and sidewalk
Right.
improvements and 100,000 for specifically sidewalk ADA ramps, so $270,000.
Could we separate those though, just for,
I can,
just so anybody that's looking,
I have it in my notes, so I will get that separated.
oh, he's got it in the notes. It's the same thing. It's 100,000. If we don't do anything, it comes right back. So,
yeah,
Cause the
200
150 was maintenance and wasn't it? Well, we're talking about sidewalks.
Sidewalk, there's $100,000 for road sidewalk improvements specifically for sidewalk and ADA ramps. And then $170,000 for road and sidewalk improvements
correct.
generally.
Maintenance and improvements.
So that could be sidewalk or roads. This $100,000 would be specifically
Dedicated
allocated
ramps.
for sidewalk sections or ramps, not roads.
Sidewalk repairs.
That would show up twice here? Do we have it earlier or just in this contribution to other units?
Contribution,
So we-
So the difference would be one's capital improvement and one's
Yeah.
maintenance. True.
yeah.
okay, road maintenance, the other,
Yep. Can you total them all together, Ryan?
Okay, so for that item, 250 for fire truck, $50,000 for parks, and $270,000 total for road improvements and sidewalk improvements. That would total $570,000 for that area.
Plus, would we add the 100 for sheriff into that section or no?
We would, yeah, sheriff would be an additional. Cause it's contribution to another unit. And frankly, so is the backflow prevention program.
I thought we had the. Is that under there?
What's that?
Oh, no, it's right under, it's the next line, it's
That's fire inspection.
961, is that what,
It's fire.
oh, you were,
Talking about backflow.
backflow, okay.
So budgetarily, I mean, we can afford to do all that. Cause
Absolutely.
backflows might be the first thing we might lose, but
We still should still have a few hundred.
It'll be good.
Yeah, we're gonna have a substantial I mean, we're gonna be expending a substantial amount of money, but I'm about to do the mathematics here, give me a minute.
But as far as future seed money, we always need more and more and more for any project.
So that's 800.
Well, to this other,
That's
this one?
870,000.
Under inspection, I would say, I would put under.
870.
That's what I'm.
Yes,
That's the majority of our budget.
that's the majority of our budget.
What's the total?
Well, and then the question is, do we put the bus in there? If we put the bus in there, then it's 910. And that really should be, because it's contribution to another
Yeah.
unit.
But the bus
The
there.
bus also goes there.
okay.
So my new total is $910,000.
Two
Other units,
Two other units,
Correct.
9 other units.
and those other
Total.
units are
Our bus
fire, police, bus.
and utilities and parks.
What's the total budget, what's the total budget proposed now?
For that area,
Oh, for everything.
910 plus all of these other numbers.
Just make sure we're not double counting any of those other numbers, if we pulled them into other units.
Well,
What was backflow again?
Backflow was 100,
100?
but it's included in that 910 as part of
Oh, okay.
transfers to other units.
Well, okay, so Gus had a insight here about inspections. Backflow, we have a GL number for inspections. Would the backflow go under inspections? Because inspections would still go to another unit.
I mean, they get built. they
I
get built
think, I
now.
think it's a question, so we wanna classify
Okay.
it, that would be more of an accounting question. That we can answer with the finance folks, then
Okay,
we have to
But is
answer
that-
today. I don't find it. I don't
I
find
find it
it,
troubling because that may not be billed directly as a deduction from the billed amount to the business owners. Same, and this, our
Yes, yeah.
intention is to have that, to reduce the cost of the backflow prevention inspections for the businesses in the DDA district, as well as what we're paying to, want to pay to support the fire marshal as a deduction from the fees that are being charged to the business in the DDA district. If it just goes back to the general fund to be used willy-nilly,
no.
No, this is for the DDA district, we said that. To relieve,
clear.
yeah, to relieve the business out of the expense for that. Okay,
alright,
Things tend,
Yeah.
quite often, government, they do this,
what's your
and
total,
all of a
Ryan?
sudden it's over here instead of
so
over
I
here.
had to take, because it was summing the $420,000. That was in that contribution to other units account. I added what we added above and beyond that. And then took the difference, so that way I have it correct. 1,523,104 plus $490,000. $190,000 is $2,013,104. I will note that while our TIR is projected to be 2,073,400. This number includes $600,000 of the project cost for brownfield, so we still have approximately $660,000 of revenue that is not being expensed or budgeted.
That's why we have reserves.
That's why we have reserves. Yep.
Oh,
Well, I just wanted to point out one other thing, when we were going over this in the budget, it's like the special budget meeting.
Yep.
We noticed that there were 3 items with the footnotes, there was the 250 for the fire truck, there was another 100 and then another, I can't remember the exact numbers. But when the budget was proposed, they were line item for very specific things. And then when it was recommended and approved, those line items disappeared and it just became one big number. And I don't know if that was deliberate or if it was the treasurer saying, or not the treasurer, the township saying, we'll take the money, but you don't tell us where it goes in our budget.
That's what that means.
I don't know if it, like, if it was just an oversight or it didn't get written down.
It was data entry done by a third party.
Okay.
It was done by a consultant that the township uses for their finance. We're currently, while we're working to expand our internal finance department. I don't know if there was any motive ascribed.
I wouldn't assume.
I don't think there was. I think it was just, I'm doing data entry on 16 things. Let's see what I wanna put in here. you know?
Because when it comes down to the question of like the 250 for the fire truck plus the reimbursement of the recapture.
Mhm.
I wanna make sure that that's recorded correctly so that when we're talking about apples to apples.
Yep,
And also,
absolutely.
let's update our capital improvement plan to
Yeah.
reflect these separate things that, parks and sheriff and whatnot.
Sheriff wouldn't be a capital.
Well, right, but,
I think we can,
Are you gonna send that out, or?
I can make a copy of, I'll make a better copy of this and I can send it out to everyone
Okay,
this afternoon.
Can we approve that subject to review and approval by the DDA president and the DDA CEO?
I'd support that.
Because that way we can have something in motion.
That
If you don't
way,
like it, Gus, you just don't approve it. And we come back.
Understand.
that way I can
That way we're
write
not
this
stuck.
up.
and I wanna see it all line, I wanna see it all written down.
Gotcha.
Yep,
Okay, I second that motion.
okay.
I'm sure Jillian would like to see it too, so.
absolutely. And so, we should probably shoot to have this in front of the board, the township board.
June 24th. I think if
Would
we
that be
set
enough?
this
I
up,
mean, depending on
So-
if we approve it. If not, then we'll have to wait till July when everybody's here.
If we want to, I mean, under Robert's rules, I think we can recess this meeting and we meet if if necessary.
that's an option.
Then we don't have to repost it, I don't believe.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, what do you guys gonna meet again then?
Little time, such
Well, do
a
we-
time is
Well,
called by the chair.
hopefully you
Need
guys
to,
get
yeah.
together and you look at what this budget we're gonna pass, subject to review by y'all.
Well, we're not gonna look at it together, we're not gonna look at it separate, have another meeting. Why don't we look at it all the same time, and if we like it, we approve it, move on.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, let's do that.
So Ryan,
Yeah,
I'll get this updated the best I can this afternoon.
okay.
Okay.
and let's meet we can meet next Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday,
No, not next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday is our board meeting.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Monday,
I
No.
can't do Monday.
Wednesday,
Let me,
I can do Wednesday.
how about
look at
tomorrow?
my calendar.
Wednesday, the 11th.
I can't be here on Wednesday if that's something you want me to attend.
That again?
I can't be here on Wednesday if that's something you want me for.
All right. How about Friday?
How about tomorrow?
Again, tomorrow,
Okay, I mean, it's just a shot.
Friday, no.
I have next Friday open after like 11
Can
on.
we do 12 Friday, the 13th?
Okay,
Sure.
Yes, I can.
Right?
all right.
Yep.
Friday the 13th, deal. Put it right here.
Hopefully it'll be a short, like
Well, it should be
15-20 minute meeting at most.
12 o'clock. You wanna do it before that? You guys wanna meet 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock,
No, I can't.
9 o'clock, there's a meeting in this room, so.
11 o'clock?
Hey,
Good with that.
Get you back for lunch, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
11 o'clock.
It's a
Yeah.
busy,
Well-
it's a busy time for you.
We have lots of ops.
At 9 AM.
Yeah, it should,
I'd hope it would be done in 2 hours.
we have, yeah.
We're meeting
How
yeah.
about 11:30, just to be safe with this other?
Hopefully it's a 15-minute meeting.
Okay.
Should be.
If we all have. if
Okay,
we've got
11:30.
that,
You got it.
11:30, okay.
Okay,
I'm not gonna send an email. It doesn't need to be posted again?
Yes, it does.
Okay, well, then,
We'll take care of that.
is it
Take care of that.
11:30?
there's no agenda. The only agenda is one item.
Well,
Okay.
we still have to follow the,
Yeah, I'm doing
We'll get it.
I'm doing an adoption, I'm doing
So we're gonna make a motion, do we wanna have a motion on the budget or not? We'll wait for the motion on the
Might as
budget.
well.
Might as well.
I don't want it to be a problem that it wasn't presented to the trustees,
Gotcha.
the board.
Do I hear a motion to present the budget as we agreed and then discuss on a later date?
Yes, move that
So-
we agree on the budget as presented.
just to be clear, so we're gonna present this budget the way it is to the board, or we're going to
No.
after
Just
the
wait.
13th?
Do a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second, now you got discussion.
He's gonna package it
I
up.
move that we table this until the next meeting,
Okay, you're,
what, the,
Friday the
not the
13th.
next meeting.
Friday the third,
Friday the
And that we
13th.
recess this meeting until, June 13th at 11:38, yeah.
okay.
Support.
all those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Okay.
Yes, okay,
there was, seems like there was two
Thank you.
conversations going on.
Yes, there was a combined motion too, so yeah, it's-
Okay,
I paid attention.
All right,
We're out of here.
all right.
That's right.
Well done, team.
You're right.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you, sweetie.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't know what that is, read it.
Well, I have.
What was it?